Jim and Doug show. How you doing, partner?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. Episode number 38.
Yes, they just keep adding up.
That's right. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about some NFL stuff, right?
Sure.
Kind of a crazy day yesterday, right?
Yeah, you had some, there was a lot of upsets. Last week they were talking about how the sports books got killed. I think they made all their money yesterday, or last night even. But, yeah, it was a lot of upsets. You can start with the Patriots just going down to Tennessee and just kind of laying an egg there. For the first time, you don't ever want to say that you doubt the Patriots ever. Every year people say that and they come back strong, but they do have some glaring weaknesses that they're going to have to correct, and I don't doubt that they're going to correct them, but it was a little bit alarming, and Brady kind of showing a little weakness late in the year. Not good.
I don't know. I'm a little surprised you're doubting this guy, because I think
I'm not doubting, but
they had a bad week. That's all. They just had a bad game. That's all. But he's still the best quarterback in the league. I don't care. You can talk about Breeze and all that, but if I had to put my money on somebody, I'd put it on Brady.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to doubt him or anything. I'm just saying that this happens every year, really, where they kind of have a moment or a couple moments that they just don't look very good, and there's a lot of glaring holes right now. Their playmakers are not getting open. Brady's arm strength didn't look very strong yesterday. The defense kind of did what the defense, always kind of does, is but bend don't break. But I just don't like what I saw.
Don't rule these guys out. Don't rule these guys out. Trust me.
No, I won't. Trust me. I am not ruling them out. I'm just saying what I saw yesterday, and it wasn't good. So what do you think?
But who's starting to look real good, right? I told you I'm a big fan of this Luck guy, Andrew Luck.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he's carrying this whole team. He's got nothing behind him, but that's what kind of player he is. He's a stud. He's a stud.
Oh yeah. He's definitely carrying it. They got. He's really one of the quarterbacks that really uses his tight ends well. You saw it yesterday. Ebron with the 3 touchdowns. The other tight end with a touchdown. He's always the kind of he uses his tight ends. He works the field from the inside out. I like what I see from him. Their team's coming on. I really thought the Jaguars was one of my picks. I love the Jaguars in that game. I really thought that they were gonna come out like gangbusters out of the bye, and with that defense, just the defense that looked really like you couldn't even score on them earlier in the year. Now,
and that's what everyone was saying. Like, these were the best. That was the best defense in the league, and I'm not seeing anything with the Jaguars.
They're done. They're done, I think. I don't see anything coming out from there, but that game was good. That game was a good one for sure. That was probably the best game of the morning slate, the afternoon slate. There was another upset yesterday. Who got beat? The Falcons. That was another one of my picks. I think I went 0-3 this week, but the Falcons, I don't know what happened in that game either. I guess Cleveland, that defense there's something to be said about their defense, but the Falcons, I really thought they were about to get on a roll and really kind of move towards gaining one of those wild card spots.
Well, that was one of the upsets of the week, because like I said, I'm a big Ryan fan too, and I was real surprised they got spanked by the Browns. It really was.
Yeah, it was very surprising. Mayfield. He's been coming on. I know there's a lot of turmoil with the firing of Jackson, and whether him and Haley were getting along, and they were kind of pitting Mayfield against each other. He looked like he played a lot more free than he has in a few games, and their offense really was working. They had the run game going with Chubb. He was throwing the ball down the field. He had a real nice throw on the run to that Higgins. I like what I see out of
anywhere. That was a fluke game. It was a big upset.
Yeah, but
day.
They're not. They're not going anywhere. But I think next year you may hear from them, because they just keep stacking up young players, young talented players. They finally look like they got the quarterback. Now they need the coach to bring it all together, and I think that team is ready-made to finally compete. next year.
Right.
So.
Well, who you think is going to be the coach next year? I mean, they need a coach. I mean, who's
Yeah,
going to be the coach?
I've heard a lot about McCarthy. I think McCarthy's definitely an option there. I think that, his time is kind of, we talked about this last week, how his time might be coming up in Green Bay. So I think he might be an option to go there and kind of take over. We know he has a good offensive mind, so I think that could be an option there. I don't think Harbaugh, they were saying John Harbaugh, they were talking about him going there. I don't see that. I don't see him staying in the division if he moves on from Baltimore.
Yeah, well, they're gonna get rid of him in Baltimore. I think his time is done.
I think Green Bay might be the spot for him. I think that's ready made for him.
I can't see McCarthy leaving Green Bay and going to Cleveland. No, he doesn't need to, pick up that mess and try to turn that team around.
It's not a mess though. I think that's right for the picking. If you're going to be a coach and you're going to want to build something, that's just like basically a blank canvas. But there's a lot of talent already in place there with the quarterback and everything. I actually think that's not a bad spot for a coach to go. And they finally have a GM that's Dorsey. He's got a close relationship with McCarthy. They got a GM that's bringing talent there. I think Cleveland's right for the picking if you're a coach out there that wants to make a name, or if you're an established coach that wants someone with a quarterback and has a good ready-made defense. That's an option for me. I think it's more of an option.
You know who they're going to pick up? They're going to take this guy Lincoln Riley because he knows Mayfield very well.
Yeah, that was my next candidate that I might say.
Right.
So getting back to the games, I think the best team in the league right now, you have to say the Saints. The Saints just are there. They don't have a weakness right now. They are clicking on all cylinders. They went into Cincinnati where, you can say Cincinnati's not that good, but it's still a tough place to play, and they just beat up on the Bengals.
I don't know. What do you think? You're not on board with the Rams? I mean, this guy.
I'm very on board. I'm on board with them. I'm on board with them, but I think New Orleans is better. New Orleans just beat them first off, and I think I like what I see from them more. And their defense is coming on. They have that defensive line, creating a pass rush on Dalton. And their defense is coming on, and LA's defense is going the opposite way. LA is giving up 30 points a game now. And last few games.
But they score 38 a game. So I mean,
they do. But the Saints are scoring the same amount, and they're not giving up as much. So
you're right. I got to give you kudos because a few months ago I said I don't get what this whole thing with Darnold is, but he is a stud. He really is.
Donald is good, and the whole defensive line for the Rams is good, and that's kind of what keeps them in games. But their secondary is very suspect. That's going to be their Achilles heel. It's the same thing. The Rams and the Chiefs are very similar teams. They both kind of have that secondary that's the Achilles heel for them. They have strong defensive lines, and they have offenses that put up a ton of points. But the Saints don't have that same Achilles heel. That's why I like them a little bit better.
Okay, well, like I said, I've been on this golf thing for a while, and I think he's really turned it around. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I love what I see from the Rams. I do, and I think I think the world of golf too. But I just don't think that they can stack up to the Saints right now. And we saw it a couple weeks ago. The Saints are just clicking on all cylinders. I just don't foresee them giving up that one seed in the NFC.
All right, we'll see. So, hey, and the one other thing in the NFL with this Bell, I'm glad the Steelers just closed the door on this guy Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Parties.
I mean,
it's better for both parties that he doesn't show. Hopefully the Steelers just kind of let it go now. No more franchise tags. Let him go off to free agency. Let him go to the Colts or whatever team's going to get him. And I think it's going to be the Colts. I have a sneaky feeling.
No, you know where he's going? He's going to the Jets.
Nah, he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go to the Jets. That's a thing he said already. He said it. You can't give me enough money to go to the Jets.
I didn't hear that, but I'm telling you, he's going to the Jets.
I mean, it's possible. I can see it's a good fit for me. I mean, I think the Jets should try and get him, but I think the Colts he wants to play with luck. But that's a discussion for another time. The Steelers are clicking on all cylinders too. Kind of like the Saints are. they don't need Bell to come back. Connor's, done more than enough to carry the load and some. The numbers even say that they're kind of a little bit better without Bell.
Oh, he's absolutely earned it. This guy Connor, he's earned the right to keep Bell out the door.
They don't need Bell to come back. And, if there's an injury to happen, that's a different story. But I think tomorrow's the deadline for him to show up, and he's not going to be there. So
no, he's not showing up, and so he left $14 million on the table, and somebody's going to pay him what, $100 million to.
I'm shocked. I could never leave. I just don't understand what he was thinking there. That's money that he'll never make back. And
I told you this. I told you that Pittsburgh was going to close the door on this guy about 6 weeks ago, and they did.
I thought he would come back for it. I thought he would come back for the end of the year. But the door's closed now, and it's going to be tomorrow. And
well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's move on to some college football. There was some good games over the weekend. That Oklahoma State was an awesome football game.
Yeah, I watched that. That was real. That was a questionable decision to go for two at the end there. I thought I would just, because you know what? In my mind, to go for two in that situation, it made no sense. Because there's 1:03 left. Oklahoma scores in a minute regularly. There was nothing to stop them. There was no stopping them again from scoring. So why go for two and lose the game there while you can kick an extra point, keep the game alive, and Oklahoma's still probably going to score anyway. There's really no point going for two.
Because Oklahoma State had nothing to, they're out of the mix, so they got nothing to play for. They could have put this up as a big win against their rival, and it was. I think it was the right move.
I don't think it was. Because they were going to get scored on anyway. So keep the game alive, and maybe you get it, because Oklahoma was going to score again. There was still 1:03 left. Oklahoma was going to keep going. So why not extend the game, and maybe you get a bounce your way and win the game that way?
Yeah,
or play for
Murray would have taken it anyway. They would have won the game anyway. I thought it was a good move.
No,
I'm not a big fan of the coach of Oklahoma State. I think he's kind of an asshole, but I'm sorry. Look,
Yeah, you know what? I just didn't like the decision there. I thought they could have played for overtime. Talking about some other games, Notre Dame won with their backup quarterback. That was as a Notre Dame fan, I was very encouraged by that. The fact that they were able to kind of put up numbers without Book in there, because their offense was kind of stagnant when they made the switch to Book, and then they never kind of looked back. So I was a little nervous about what's his name coming back in to play.
Right, but Winbush has played some games. He's won some games, so right. He's second string now, but he came in and took it. And now, are you going to the game on Saturday?
I don't think I am. I don't think I'm going to go.
I'd like to go to that game, but St. Joe's is playing, so I'm not going. So.
You guys are playing Peters. I see that. I might keep an eye on it. But
guess who plays for St. Peter's? Brandon Winbush.
Yeah, he played there. Yep.
Yeah,
Brandon Winbush played there. I wanted to go. I might still, but it's a little expensive for me. Like, the tickets are going for a lot. It's gonna be cold. I might still go. You may hear of me going there, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Well, that should be a good game. They shouldn't look past them, because Syracuse is a pretty good football team, I must say.
Yes. Oh no, that's a huge game. Syracuse is very good. They're gonna be ranked, I think, like 12th now. Syracuse is really good, and I definitely foresee that being a tough game, for sure.
Right, but we you got to look back and say, this Alabama, they're almost untouchable. I mean, they're untouchable.
Yeah, Alabama is not going to lose. They're
I don't know who could beat them. Who could beat them?
If you look at this, just to talk about this week's game, Mississippi State has, if not the best, one of the best defenses in the SEC in the country. I think they've given up no more than 14 points in any game this year. Their offense is lackluster, but they've given up no more than 14 points in any game. I want to say that's true. Alabama scored 21 first half, and I think Tua went out of the game late, but they and they kind of stopped putting up points, but that was more than enough for them to win, and that was a great showing in the first half against what is considered a lockdown defense. And Alabama's just on all cylinders right now. And
they're hard to beat. They're just impossible.
I don't think they're going to be.
They're loaded on both sides of the ball, and we're talking about with college football. I think what team could sneak in. I mean, I told you last week, West Virginia. I thought had a good shot.
Yeah.
Georgia. I mean, they could still sneak in.
You got to beat Alabama.
I know, but Michigan has to beat Ohio State, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. So
yeah, well, I think if that doesn't happen, then Georgia has a shot, but I think if Michigan doesn't win, then Oklahoma has the clear path, or West Virginia. One of those two teams, they're going to play each other twice. So if one of those two teams sweeps, they'll go in. So there's still a lot to happen. Obviously you got the Big Ten championship. Ohio State against Michigan, all that. So I think what's clear is the three unbeatens at the top. If they can get the win, they're going to be in.
Yep. If Notre Dame wins this weekend, then I think they got a clear path. They'll play in the Final Four.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Yeah, this is going to be the test because I think after that it's only USC, who they should handle. USC is usually a pain, but they're not this year. I don't think.
No, they're not. They're nothing not this year. So. And the one good thing, and this guy Petrino got canned yesterday at Louisville.
Yeah, he's a jerk. They're just, when Lamar Jackson was out of there, that was if you can't win with Lamar Jackson, can't win big with Lamar Jackson, then that's an issue for you. So,
all right, we'll catch up on college football next week. It's getting down to crunch time, so it's pretty cool.
Yes.
I know, let's talk about your NBA. I know you're a big NBA guy more than I am, but, they trade this guy Butler to Philadelphia?
Yeah.
That makes them a pretty formidable team, right?
Yeah, they're good. I don't know how they'll mesh, though, because that's a few personalities right there that are going to have to get along. You have Embiid. Simmons is kind of a standoffish guy. Obviously, Butler's had his issues as well. So the talent, no doubt, is there, and they were able to they gave up two solid players that were solid role players for them.
I know, you're right, they're role players, though. They didn't give up a lot. They should have got more. Minnesota really, they just wanted to unload this guy so bad that they got nothing for him.
The funny thing is, they tried to hold on to him as long as they could. Thibodeau was kind of adamant about going for the playoffs and keeping Butler, and they said no to a better offer at first. And Thibodeau was like, no, let's hold on to him. Then it kind of became too much, and when it was time to kind of make the move finally, they didn't get the same offers that they got in the beginning. So it was kind of tough for them in that scenario.
I don't think it was Thibodeau who had to say it was the owner just wanted this guy out of town.
The owner eventually, Thibodeau convinced the owner to keep him for a while. The owner did want to trade him, but what happened was it just became too much. The owner was like, "No, sorry, we got to let it go."
All right, like I said, there's not much going on, and the only other thing is Carmelo. Finally, they're going to get rid of him in Houston. This guy's been done. He was a great player. Solid player, won a national championship with Syracuse, but he's done. Can they finally realize that?
Is he done being a superstar? Yeah, but I still think he can help somebody. I'm not completely. I think he can. I don't think he's a starter or even really a great backup, but if you put him in the game, he can get some points for you. I don't really see him as the big problem that everyone says. Houston's got other problems that they're going to have to solve, and you're going to see that.
He's had a good run. He was a great player, but his days are over. At some point you got to say enough is enough.
I don't think he has to retire. I think he's still good, but he just needs to learn how to take a back seat. And Houston, I'm telling you, Houston's gonna still have these same problems. They're making him out to be a big scapegoat. They're gonna have these same issues that they're dealing with, and everyone's gonna see. I'm a Melo fan still.
All right. Well, all right. Let's move on. We covered the NBA. The only other thing in baseball was Harper. He turned down $300 million in Washington.
Yeah, because he's going to get $100 million more from somebody.
I think he's going to Philadelphia is what the rumor is. You know.
He is. He's going to Philadelphia, and Machado's coming to the Yankees. That's what's going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
Would you rather have Harper or Machado?
I'd rather have. I don't want either of them. I would say Harper just because he's the lefty. To be honest, that's the only reason. I think Machado fits what we need more because we need more of a contact, high average guy, and Harper's just the lefty Stanton. But I think that.
I know, Harper's only 26 years old, though.
So is Machado.
He's got a lot of miles left on the tires, you know.
Yeah, so is Machado. They're both 26.
Yeah, but Harper hustles, Machado doesn't. So.
I mean, yeah, I don't like the non-hustle part, but if Machado's lacing line drives everywhere, like I say with Gary Sanchez, I don't really care. If you're hitting the ball hard and you're playing solid defense, which you know I come to expect from these guys, I'm not gonna go crazy if you're not busting it the first on a grounder or short. But
I know, but Machado's not Mike Schmidt. You know, he's not Ozzie Smith playing shortstop. He's not that great in the field.
He's better than Andujar. He's better than Andujar, though.
Really? The guy's going to be Rookie of the Year for crying out loud.
He's better defensively.
All right.
I love Andujar, but I'm just saying I can see the writing on the wall right now. I'm telling you, I see it. He's gonna come. Andujar's gonna go out for a trade. I'm telling you.
Well, they got to get a lot for him because he could hit. I mean, I know his fielding is suspect, but he can hit. They're
going after Kluber. That's what the rumors are. Kluber, Carrasco, Paxton. That's the Yankees are going after. So I think that constitutes a decent trade for Andujar, no?
I'm not sure. I really like this kid. I mean, I really
do.
I
do too. I love him, but I'm not saying that's what I would do. I wouldn't sign Machado. I would keep Andujar there, and I would try and see if he could play another position because his bat is very special. But
I wouldn't take Machado. I don't want to. After what I saw in the playoffs, what kind of lazy guy he is.
But
I don't think I want anything to do with him. I'd take Harper.
We need lefty hit. I wouldn't take either of them. We need lefty hitters that hit for average. So what I would do is I would go out and find 300 hitters like Michael Brantley, Daniel Murphy, and then I would use the money on pitching or to try to acquire pitching. That make whether that be Kluber, whether that be a Paxton, I go for that. But I also I'll sign Happ back. I'll sign Corbin back. So I think I'll sign Corbin. So I know,
but Harper could hit 65 home runs in Yankee Stadium.
He could. So what did they say about Stanton? They said the same exact thing about Stanton, and he didn't do it. So I'm not. Not everyone.
He's a righty, though. I mean, we're talking about the right field line in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, you know what? Harper could do great here for sure. I would take him, and he's a great lefty bat and everything. But I mean, I'm sick of seeing these high-priced free agents come here and not produce. And like, are you sure? Are you positive Harper's going to do that well here? We don't know. You same thing with Stanton.
So. I would take a chance on him.
I would think about it, but I would rather just go with power's not going to do it for us because that power goes away in the playoffs. We saw that. I want 300 hitters. I want Daniel Murphy, Michael Brantley. These guys hit 300 last year. Bring them in. Let's get some guys on base for our power hitters. So Judge isn't hitting a solo shot. Instead, he's hitting 3-run homers, and Stanton hits 3-run homers. We got the power. Let's
right, but you would rather have Daniel Murphy than Bryce Harper? I mean, come on. I mean, really?
Honestly, for our lineup, yeah. Because I'm sick of I'm not saying they're the comparable players. I'm saying to fit in our lineup, that's what would fit. That's what I think we need. We need someone that's going to be on base, that's going to be out there hitting for contact more. Harper, is he going to put up 50 home runs, but he's going to hit 230, 240 and strike out a lot. We have those kind of players.
I know, but don't you think Murphy's had his moment in the sun already?
No.
You think he's going to come to New York and light it up? I don't think so.
I don't think he's going to light it up. I think he'll hit 300 with 22 homers and like 80 RBIs and can play first and second and kind of fill that Neil Walker role for us, but be better. I think if you add him, you add a guy like Michael Brantley who can hit 300 from the left side. Those are the kind of players Boston has. That's how they won. Boston didn't load up on power hitters.
We don't need guys that had their best seasons already and then bring them over. I'm not on board with that. That's all.
I think we need situational hitting. That was our whole issue in the playoffs. I don't want to swing for home runs anymore. We have home run hitters. Sanchez, Sanchez is the same thing. Sanchez, Judge, Stan. Low average, high power, high strikeout. We have that. We don't need another Harper. Or Machado, he's a righty, but he's a little bit more with what I want. But I would go for keep the payroll down. If you're going to use the payroll, spend it on pitching.
Look, I wouldn't put Sanchez in the same category as Judge. Judge is a high average hitter. He's a power hitter, but Sanchez is hits home runs, but he can't. And he's lazy too. I can't stand lazy guys.
Yeah, he's more of a Machado as far as laziness, but Sanchez last year it wasn't his year, but in the other 2 years his average was up there with Judge's. He was hitting between 270 and 290. So I'm not gonna throw him to the wolves yet. Let's see.
No, you gotta stay on board with Judge. This kid's no.
I'm talking about Sanchez. I'm not throwing Sanchez to the wolves yet. Let's see how he does. He just had surgery, so maybe that was slowing him down. So let's see how he starts off the year next year.
All right. Well, we'll see. Hey, listen. Before we get into our picks here.
Wait. I gotta be on record saying I don't want Machado and Harper. I want everyone to know that. But I also want to be on record to saying that Machado's coming. So I want everyone to hear that's listening on the podcast.
All right, well, I'm disagreeing, and I'm saying Harper's coming and not Machado, because I don't think Machado's that laziness ain't going to play in New York. It's not going to work.
Okay. All right, then that's our predictions. Then it's on the record.
All right.
I'm ready for the picks when you are. Then.
All right, hold on. I just need to mention one thing real quick. All right, it's kind of a personal note. It's a horse racing thing.
Okay.
This guy, Robert Levy, he owned a couple of horses back in, and I know you're a little too young to remember, but he owned a horse called Bet Twice, who came in second to Ali Sheba in the '87 in the Derby and the Preakness, and then he beat him in the Belmont. And he also owned a horse called Housebuster.
Yeah.
He won like 20. He didn't race in the Triple Crowns, but he won like 20, Grade 1 horse racing, and he was, a philanthropist in Philadelphia, and my sister actually worked for him, and he was great to my father, great guy. And he set me up, and I went down to the Vikings-Eagles game, sat in the owner's box, and talked with Steve Sable. You know who Steve Sable is?
Yeah, the godfather of NFL films.
Right. And I sat and spent 4 hours with Steve Sable, and I just wanted to mention he passed away this week, and he was a great guy, and my sister loved him, and, it's worth mentioning. One of the good guys, and he started this little thing called the Little Quakers, which was like a little pee-wee football league in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Great guy, and I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that before we signed off tonight.
Thinking of their family, then. Thinking of their family for sure. Sounds like a great man.
Yep.
And, good to be, I can always appreciate a guy that's into sports like that. So,
right, but do your homework and look up, like I said, believe it or not, this was 1987, Bet Twice. He won the Belmont, and he blew the field away, but he was a great guy, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that on the show tonight. So.
Absolutely, definitely good. That's a good job by you. Good mention, and we're definitely thinking of their family.
All right, so let's do our picks. I know you got to be glowing a little bit because I took the Jets and I took I got spanked on that one for some stupid reason. I don't know why I picked the Jets, but
I went 0 for 3, so I can't even talk any trash.
I know.
I had Atlanta, I had Jacksonville, and I had who was the other team I had?
You had Pittsburgh.
Oh, I had Pittsburgh. Oh, okay, so I was 1 for 2.
Yeah, so you 1 and 2. You 1
All
and
right.
2.
All right, here we go. Here's my 3 right now. I'm starting it off this week. My first one, the first pick I love. I like Minnesota on the road going to Chicago. I think Chicago's been playing above their pay grade for a little while now. I haven't bet against them yet. Minnesota's getting 2.5 in that game. I'd love that. But I think Minnesota is going to finally make a turn towards taking control of this division.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with them as my first pick. My second pick, I bet on this team last week. I'm going to pick against them this week. Well, actually, this is a matchup of 2 teams I picked. I picked Pittsburgh, so I'm going to pick Pittsburgh again. I'm going to bet against Jacksonville. So we got Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. Pittsburgh's laying 5. Like I said before, they're kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. And they kind of got it all together. Now the cloud that was Le'Veon Bell's out of the sky now. So that's another little issue that kind of cleared itself up. So now they can go out and play
disagree.
football.
Pittsburgh's on a roll right now. They're hot.
Yeah. So now they can just go out there and play football. So I like that aspect of it.
Give me your third pick.
That's my second pick. My third pick. This team needs to get back to doing business the way they were. I liked what I saw from them. Carolina. They're at Detroit this week. They're laying 4 points. I like that. Anything less than a touchdown against Detroit, it's looking good these days. Detroit's kind of just lost. This is kind of a pick against Detroit more than a pick for Carolina. But I like Carolina. I like what I see from them. They put up a lot of points. They just need to get that sour taste out of their mouth. It was a Thursday game, tough game against Pittsburgh, where it was kind of just a snowball effect. So I'll take.
I know, and I don't disagree with you. I bet betting. I'm not a Cam Newton guy, but I think Detroit they're falling off the map. So I don't disagree with you on that one. So
yeah, so that's my 3. So just to reiterate, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Minnesota. 3 road teams.
All right, here's my picks. Tennessee's at Indianapolis, and like I said, I'm on board with Luck, so I'll take them.
Okay.
I'm not a big Mariota fan. Yeah, they upset New England this week, and it was big, but I don't see that happening again.
Okay.
Denver at Chargers. Chargers, and again, I'm not a big Rivers fan, but Denver's got nothing. And I'm going to go against you, though. I got Minnesota at Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm taking Chicago there, so,
Okay. All right. Well, what's your reasoning behind that? You just like the way their defense is playing, or what?
I just don't think Minnesota has enough, to win on the road. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of Trubisky yet. I'd like, he's starting to come along and so forth, but we'll see. Chicago at home, though, I don't think Minnesota can handle that,
Okay. All right.
All right, so listen, before we check out, your Sparta team did pretty good against a tough Ramapo team in the high school playoffs, right?
They held strong. They had momentum going into half. I think if there was no halftime in that game, they would have won. They had momentum going into half.
Game?
No, but I know all about it. I read about it, and I know kind of what happened. And
what was it, like 42-33 or something like that?
That's exactly what it was, 42-33.
Yep.
High scoring, tough loss for Sparta, but they lost to a better team. Rampo's really good.
They are good.
They're going to play Riverdale this week. So now, since when are these games not at MetLife anymore? I saw all the final games are going to be hosted at the schools now. They're not doing it at
MetLife. If they make it to the finals, we'll get to that in a second. That's going to be in the Meadowlands.
Oh no, I'm talking about the for the non-public schools.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't know.
public,
They don't put those up there. You know, they used to seem to put the southern schools down, South Jersey schools in the Meadowlands. I don't know why, but
oh, well, all the northern schools are at the school of the higher seed now. It was never like that, so that's strange to me.
well, so you know, we got you know, let's talk about St. Joe's. We played it. We got to talk about this because they played a team, St. Augustine's from South Jersey.
They came up and played you tough, huh? I saw that.
Oh my God!
I
have never seen a bigger high school football team. These guys were monsters. The running back had to be 300 pounds.
What town were they from?
I don't know. They're down by Atlantic City, I think, something like that.
Oh, they came up a long way, huh?
Yeah.
So that's a long trip. So they came up and played some defense. I read the box score, so like, you gotta forgive me, but it looks like you guys couldn't punch it in the red zone.
Yeah, it was a great game, but it was cold as hell, and it was. But you know, so now you got Bergen playing Bosco, and you got St. Joe's rematch with St. Peter's on Saturday at home. St. Joe's is at home.
I heard St. Joe's is favored by 3.5.
Well, listen, you know, I know we're a little biased on Northern New Jersey football, high school football, and you know, there's big teams out there like IMG across the country and so forth, and Good Counsel and all those teams.
With these Final Four teams, you're not going to get much better.
Right, so that'll be a great game. If I'm assuming Bergen will beat Bosco and St. Joe should beat St. Peter's, although I'm not writing it in. But that'd be a great game. I'll see you at the Meadowlands for that final. You know.
Okay. All right. So you're saying Bergen against St. Joe's?
That's my pick right there.
All right, that'll be good. Then I'll hold you to that. We'll talk about it next week.
We will.
So before we go, I got to give a shout out to my guy Mike Garvey emailing me. He was busting me on the Jets pick. I didn't want to mention it last week because I was a little sour over it. You know, the Jets-Dolphins game. So
right.
I was a little sour over it. I said the Jets would win. So my guy Mike Garvey getting on me in the emails, but he loves the show, so I'm going to give him a shout out. And you know, when I go 3-0 next week, maybe we'll see if he emails me.
Oh, he's gonna love you giving him a shout out. That's great.
All right. So I saw you in the inbox, Mike. Don't think I didn't see you. I just didn't. You know, I'm a little sour when I get my picks wrong, even if it is the Jets, who I don't like.
I know you're setting your ways, kid. You're setting your ways.
Yep. So real quick, shout out to the sponsors before we go.
Yep. Let's just say Harley Davidson of Utica and Lynch Toyota from Manchester, Connecticut. They've been loyal and they'll be with us till the end. So
that's right. So all right. So that's good. Went over a lot. So hopefully next week we have some answers.
We'll have some good. We got a lot to talk about next week. Let's see how everything works out. Good talking to you, partner.
For sure. All right. Talk to everybody next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.